Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Kind of windy out there today, 73 degrees. We're still having our nice cool weather before we get into our hot season again. Well, it looks like it's a Wednesday, March 11th update report, and as you notice on my thumbnail at the beginning of the screen, gold up 55 bucks, silver up $1.40. Now, that's not from yesterday, folks. That's from the low of last week when we seen prices get monkey hammered again from the mid 17, high 17 range down to almost 1695 or 1688. I think was the low, not on the close, but the low that I seen in gold. And silver kind of held on to its own at that mid 25 range, even though we did see it drop down into the low 25s. So basically, silver's up almost $1.40 from its lows last week. And one little tip I want to give you: if you see that my shows are fairly short, it means that we are in an up market. If you see my shows are very long, it means we're probably in a temporary down market. And as I said, when you see these down markets, as Warren Buffett says here, buy the effing dip. And that's what I keep trying to explain to you, that we are in a full-blown bull market here, not to panic. And I go out of my way a little bit extra to try to find articles, because there's a lot of new people out there stacking gold and silver. They haven't been in this market like I've been in this market. I started working for my father in 1977, helping him out before that first big bull market in 1980, when we seen prices rise up to $850, which was a high in 1980 dollars. Not only was it high compared to today's dollars, it's probably $8,500 or so in today's money. However, I've been in this business a long time. I've seen a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and I'm starting to recognize what bull markets look like and bear markets. And that's why when my reports are a little bit longer, you're going to notice it's usually on a down day when markets got monkey hammered, or we've seen some reports that aren't so good on gold and silver. Again, I do that just to kind of make sure that some of you folks don't give up and just sell your positions in these ridiculously down markets when you see it like this. As I said, it provides the opportunity to buy the frickin' dips. Your homework page is usually gata.org, as I've been telling you. You should have it in your bookmarks up here. Once a week, you should look at gata.org. Nothing new that we didn't cover already. Had this little article by Sprott Money, which talks about graphs. I've been talking about graphs this last week, head and shoulder patterns, and I'm trying to learn a little bit about that. I do firmly believe, and not firmly believe, it's fact that graphs can show you where you've been. But I've always questioned whether they can show you where you're going, because there's so many different dynamics behind it. But I believe there's a lot of information to be had from graphs, and I'm kind of learning a little bit more about it. This article by Sprott talks about graphs. They're very technical too, so you got to wrap your head around this if you're going to read this. And they're talking about where was that, 2012, where we had a last high, and they're talking about the similarities between these two peaks right here. Interesting read. I'm going to take us down to the bottom of the page where they pointed out something that a lot of folks really are not familiar with and not aware of right now. And on a day-to-day basis, let's watch the spread between the front month futures contract, currently April 21st, and the spot price. A normal situation finds these two prices in contango, where the future price is a few pennies to $1 above the spot price. So it means that the futures price is only a couple cents above what the current spot price, and the spot price is the price that you're seeing on the screen right now. This one, for example, that we use on a daily basis, that would be the spot price. So it looks like at present, however, we find these prices in backwardization, where the futures price is below the spot price. So that means the price in the future is less than what we're showing for today's spot prices, which is really strange and confusing, and it can be really difficult for me to explain this stuff to you. But I recommend that you learn more about this, because it has a good part of, remember I talked about this tail that wags the dog, tail being the paper markets and the dog being the physical gold, the real product itself. Well, this stuff has all to do with the tail. So if you want to understand what markets are doing, where they're going, or where they may go, you do have to study the tail as well. You can't just own and look at the dog all the time. So when prices finally turn higher again, you'll see the situation turn too. Did I go? Hold on a second. Maybe I skipped this part. This backwardization has been going on for over a week is indicative of heavy, relentless bank and HFT selling in the COMEX derivative market. So this backwardization that we're seeing, where the future prices are below the current spot prices, is heavy bank and HFT selling in the COMEX derivative market, and the type you'd see at a capitulating bottom. And again, that's kind of what they were trying to point out in the graphs above, that they believe that this is a capitulation in the bottom and that we're not going to see these lower prices here. And they also say when price finally turns higher again, you'll see this situation turn to, and price will move back into contango. As you can see, this hasn't happened yet. However, when it finally does, you'll know that we have a very likely seen the bottom of the current consolidation phase. And again, that's what this kind of drop has been in the 17 range, or the drop that we've seen since last October or so, when we were at our high of 2100 last summer, last spring and last summer. This is exactly what it is. It's a consolidation phase for the next leg up. And again, that's why I've been telling you for a while, relax, don't worry about it, and buy the friggin' dips. Let's move along to the next article here, and we're going to make this report real short because markets are up today. And as I said, when the markets are up, my reports will be a lot shorter. I'm going to look over ZH articles and see what's in here. The bottom, I already read that article. Not too much. Inflation is being hidden because belief in our whole fantasy system is collapsing. Well, I agree with that. I'm going to let you guys read. I hope ZH is also in your bookmarks. It's a good place to get all kinds of different viewpoints, unlike most corporate news, which give you a single narrative that and no other viewpoints, generally speaking. Government stimulus is blowing up a massive economic bubble. We knew that. 7 European nations halt AstraZeneca on reports of serious blood clots. God, I hope not. That wouldn't be a good thing. But these vaccinations are fairly new. And that's really about it. Not too much, nothing really good in economic news. Oh, here, this was really cool. I wanted to show you this. Copper caper. Commodities trader conned by painted rocks. Apparently, a big copper trader had asked for delivery of his, and it's actually not really funny. It's pretty sad, actually. Asked for delivery of his copper contract. In copper, and it came from China, I think. They sent him bricks that were copper. Look at that. If you take a look, they sent him bricks that were copper painted in the ship. There it is right there. There's a better picture right there. They painted copper bricks, and they sent him copper bricks, paving bricks. And it reminded me of a story years ago. Does anyone that's probably above the age of 50 remember International Gold Bullion Exchange? I'll get to this in a moment. I think we're going to see companies like this start popping up more, with gold and silver becoming more popular. So if you have new friends and people that you know that are getting into the gold and silver business, definitely steer them toward the better businesses that you're aware of, because there are a lot of con artists out there. I remember when I was working for my father, I think it was around 1980 or something like that, before the gold market had gone up, really high. We had a gentleman that worked at IBM in Boca at the time, and again, my father's shop was in Boca. He worked at IBM, and he had chosen, IBM was closing down. That's where they did a lot of their work in Boca Raton. IBM had big headquarters out there and a big manufacturing plant. Well, they started to close that manufacturing plant down, and they offered a lot of IBM employees a couple options, where you can go work somewhere else, or we'll pay you an early retirement plus a lot of money. Well, I remember we had this one customer, and I won't give his last name. His name was Dick. And Dick came in one day. He was a customer of my father's. And I think gold Krugerrands were at the time were like 4% or 5%. No, they were 6% over spot. I remember that now. It's funny. They were spot plus 6% at the time. And they were like the most popular product. And Dick came in one day, and he had his $30,000 check in hand. And he said to my father, he said, "Ed, I'd like to buy some Krugerrands." What do you, and I think my father was paying 4% and making 2% at the time. He said, "What are you selling Krugerrands for?" My father says, "Well, Dick, you've been with me for a little while. Normally 6, but I'll cut you a little deal or something." He gave him like a little better deal. It was like 5.5. My father would make 1.5 over his cost at the time. And Dick looked at my father and says, "That's just crazy, Ed. I can buy him for I can buy him for 1%. I kid you not, 1% over spot from the International Gold Bullion Exchange." Now, this is in the 1980s. I was a young man at the time, and my father says, "You can't buy him for 1%, Dick. I can't even buy him for 1. They cost me 4%." He argued up and down and said that, listen, Ed, I'm sorry, I'd rather do business with you, but I'm going to go down and see IGB, and I have to buy them at their 1%. So we hadn't talked to Dick in a while at that time, and I don't remember the whole story and all the details to it, but I'm going to read you where Dick went here. He went to the IGBE. IGBE was a gold bullion dealer that committed major fraud during the 1980s. Need I say more? But I'll go on a little bit. And this is right down the street where my shop is from, actually. My shop is right down the street from where their headquarters was. And International Gold Bullion Exchange was founded in 1979 by the William and James Alderdice brothers. And if you want to read an interesting story, type in Alderdice, James Alderdice. These guys ended up getting murdered or killing each other or something. Some crazy, crazy stuff happened with these guys. It grew to be reportedly the largest retail gold bullion dealer in the United States. It offered sale and storage of gold and silver bullion and coins. Now here's the key. Dick went down there and he bought his $30,000, his retirement check at the time, or whatever they paid him off in, plus his retirement and his extra bonus, his 30 grand bonus, and they paid him, and he bought Krugerrands from them, which they stored for him. And this is why I'm always telling you, keep it in your own hands. No matter how good the company is or how bad the company is and who it is, keep it in your own hands. That's the idea of owning gold and silver, is you don't have third-party risk. No one else is holding it for you. You don't have a piece of paper, you have it in your hands. You're eliminating third-party risk. Well, Dick went down and spent the 30 grand with the guy with IGBE, and they held it for him. The company would sell gold bullion at a discount if the buyer agreed to postpone taking delivery. Well, that should be the first red signal that goes up, the first signal. It was headquartered in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as I told you, and offices in Los Angeles and Dallas, and employed over 1,000 people. The company advertised in national publications like the Wall Street Journal and Barron's. And what's funny, too, is they did employ over 1,000 people. I remember in high school, the kid down the street, his brother was a big pot seller at the time, worked for him. So, and I think that's the reason he worked down there. But he was one of their big salespeople, if that tells you anything, too. So at this time, I had told my father, I said, I don't think these people are good. My father said, no way, Brian. He says, it's a scam. I know this. My father, he's been through years of that. He had experience. He knew exactly what Dick was getting into. So anyway, the company ended up filing bankruptcy in 1983 and ceased operation. When the company's offices were raided by law enforcement, it turned out that the gold bar stacks shown in their advertising were only wooden blocks painted gold color. So, oddly enough, one of the deputy sheriffs that is retired and that works for me now, helping me with security here, I think he was involved or was there during the arrest of these people and stuff, and talked about the blocks painted gold color. So, anyways, poor Dick lost his entire $30,000. My dad and I tried to explain it to him time. The old too good to be true. You can't buy it at 1%. How can you buy it at less than what everybody else in the world is buying? And the greed factor kicked in. Dick was going to save himself 5% by buying down there. Instead, he lost his entire 30 grand. Well, if it sounds too good to be true, folks, it probably is. And get ready for more scams in the precious metal business, because when the precious metals start heating up again, they start opening up everywhere. It's like cash for gold shops. You notice that you haven't seen any in a long time, but when gold prices get really heated up, they're on every frickin' corner. Well, avoid all these new businesses. Avoid any business that wants to hold your gold or silver for you. Avoid them like the plague. Avoid holding on to paper. Again, the whole object is, if Dick had listened to us, he would have walked out of our shop with his $30,000 and $1980, which might be 10 times that much now. 1980, $30,000 would be what, $100,000 now or more at least. So really, Dick lost his entire $30,000 over greed and the thought that he was going to save himself 4 or 5%. So again, folks, stick with people that have been around for a long time when you're buying precious metals. If you live in my neighborhood, I've been here for a long time. I'm second generation in this business. If you don't live near me, find yourself a business that's been around for at least 10 years, full-time business that knows what they're doing, and don't let them hold the gold or silver, and don't even ask them. You got to hold it yourself. But if Dick had done that, he wouldn't have lost probably a good part of his retirement. So, at the time it shut down, there were $75 million in claims. Now, remember, this is 1980s dollars, folks. The company spent over $44 million on personal spending, salaries, marketing, and travel, and had no assets or little assets when it shut down. During the summer of '83, the Alderdice brothers were indicted in New York on the state of grand larceny and securities fraud, and indicted in Broward County, Florida, on 203 counts of. Anyway, to make a long story short, let's see here. Where we go. They were arrested in 1980, spent 8 months in jail before. Oh, okay, they do tell the story here. Before being able to raise bail in July '84, while free on bond, William Alderdice was murdered by James Doyle, a former cellmate who served as the brother's chauffeur. And in 1985, James Alderdice received a sentence of 10 years in federal prison. He also been convicted in New York State. Anyway, just a bad deal. And again, that little story right there of the painted copper bricks just reminding me of IGBE, which at the time was the largest gold scam ever. And probably if you looked at the amount, $1980, it still probably is one of the largest gold scams ever. And it brings up the great point that if it's too good to be true, folks, it probably is. If someone offers you gold or silver that's even a few percent below than all what the majors are selling, you should really question it and make sure you're not buying copper bricks. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick with it. Let's take a look at what gold and silver prices are doing today. I'll do a quick refresh here, and we are speeding through this. Like I said, metals market are up, and when metals are up, you can tell that my reports are going to be a lot shorter, or you can tell by my reports. Gold at $1723.86. Look at that range from yesterday, about a $20 range, up $20 today, more or less. And there's my lucky number, 333. And silver, 26, holding on to that $26 level, 26.02. Looks like we had a high at 26.50. And again, New York just opened a little while ago, so I suspect New York is going to be a little bit higher later on in the day. I'm thinking we're going to see a little higher closes. Platinum sitting at 1,200, high at 1,227, low at 1,194. Again, listen, these are still good opportunities to buy. Could we see lower prices still? Could we see sub $1,724 silver in the future still? Abso-freaking-lutely, but as I said, it's probably going to be a result of two things. The first thing is going to be monkey hammering, so we could see lower prices. Again, just buy the dips. Don't sell into it, buy the dips, and if you're not ready to buy, just wait it out. And the other way we could see sub 1,700, sub 1,600, sub $1,500 gold, and maybe $20 silver is if the entire system collapses like it did in 2008. In 2008, I watched gold and silver prices plummet with every other market out there, housing market, stock market, you name it. Gold and silver plummeted with it too. However, you could buy paper gold and silver at those lower prices, but you could not buy the real stuff. You know how the premiums are big right now? In 2008, when everything collapsed, including gold and silver prices, you couldn't even find gold and silver. Gold Eagles we were told we get delivery in 2 months, 3 months. We were being told silver would be delivered in 2 and 3 months, and the premiums were horrendous, just as bad as they are, if not worse. So those are the two scenarios you will see lower gold and silver prices. In both cases, buy the dips if you can. In the case of an economic collapse, it's unlikely you're going to find any metal, but if you can, buy the dip anyway, and it'll just skyrocket after that. So let's take a look at that's really about it on gold prices here. I think that we're going to see, I'm going to start my predictions again. I think we're back in the semi-normal times. So I think if we're going to see a little bit higher close here with New York, and I think we're going to see a little higher prices tomorrow as well. That's just my opinion in all three precious metals. I think the monkey hammering is temporarily over. And let's answer yesterday's questions here on yesterday's video. Let's take a look here, and there we go. Yesterday's video was what drives gold and silver prices. I thought it was one of my better videos too, man. I explained some really cool stuff out there, and then I figured out I forgot to plug the mic in, and it sounds like I was talking inside of a tin can. I couldn't even listen to myself, the whole report. And trust me, I always listen to my reports. I'm my worst critic. I like to point out every mistake I made, and then just anyways, I won't go into that. Let's take a look at the comments yesterday, and I'll answer as many as I can here. Yesterday's report was what drives gold and silver prices. Let's see. Duffy Cly says Elon Musk is, I was going to call him Ellen again. Elon Musk is the richest man. I don't know who needs to hear this. You got to stop saving money. Invest some part of it if you want financial freedom. Okay. I guess. Thanks for commenting, Deffy, and thanks for watching. If you'd like to elaborate a little more on that, I'd answer it for sure. And my phones are ringing off the hook here already. Prestia Metals, hey, what's up, buddy? Justin Sarte, new subscriber, so cool. My video game name is Justin888, and I'm your 888th subscriber. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, sir. It's funny how people who don't really stack or accumulate precious metals always say, who are you going to sell to when we hit all times that we've never been through? The average person buys highs and sells low. That's kind of true, and I guess you were watching my report because you're kind of parroting a few of the things I said there. Hey, thanks for watching, Justin. I think you watch my reports, you'll become a smarter bear and a smarter stacker. John, nice to see you watching again. And to people who are buying metals for fast profit, I don't care what the spot price is. You know, you don't buy metals for fast profits, in my opinion. You buy it, you hold it, and you put it away. It's kind of a hedge against bad times, which I think we're going to see coming up here shortly. John Beetha, hey, thanks for watching, guy. Our government uses silver and gold as their economy. Just play toy. Jason Davenport, the conventional gold price versus nominal interest inverse relationships really only applies when the real interest rate is not going negative and the economy is moving along honky-dory and not at the verge of a crisis. Hey, Jason. Hey, thanks for watching. Very astute comment, and I'd have to agree with you 100% there. It sounds like you really listened to what I was saying. Actually, it sounds like you already knew what I was saying. Hey, so thanks for watching again, Jason. There you go, John. Thanks for the nice compliment there. And wait a minute, Doggy says, your channel is getting popular enough to attract Bitcoin scammers. Ah, so that's what those guys out there are with that strange little link that I never want to click. So, well, that was a really quick report yesterday, and I guess that's really about it. Let me go into best products out there are still gold bars. If you can buy gold bars, Gold Eagles are just insanely priced, man. They're like $180 to $200 over the price of gold. Buffaloes are like $200 over the price of gold. Maples are probably like $140 over. And the best deal out there by far, and don't get, well, people don't like bars, and bars are completely fine. There's no problem, no issues when you're buying bars. And in fact, at the prices versus what they are right now, you can buy bars for $90 or less, depending on the quantity that you're buying. But you can buy bars for the gold price plus 90 or less if you're buying a larger quantity. Cheapest product out there, best deal. Don't be spending $130, $180, $200 over for a price of gold when you can buy the same thing in a rectangular shape for $90. It's just insane, folks. There's no reason to buy gold eagles and gold coins for $50 to $100 more than you could buy in a gold bar for. There's no advantage to it whatsoever. None. Zero. And if you think there is, make a comment down below and I'll answer it and tell you why you're wrong. Same thing with silver. Silver eagles are just insanely priced. The premium is just ridiculous. Avoid silver eagles. Avoid all those other higher priced coins that are getting stratosphere premiums like $6 to $10. I mean, until we get to the point where that's the only thing available, I stay away from them. Don't buy them. There are other products available, so you can buy like silver bars. 100-ounce bars are a good deal right now. If you can find generics, they're going to run you about spot plus $350. A good premium bars, which I have a good line on right now, are spot plus $450. But to be paying $8 to $12 for a silver eagle, it's insane, folks. It's not necessary. Do not be buying gold, silver, and eagles at these ridiculously high premiums. Trust me on this. I've got a safe full of them. I haven't been selling them. I'd rather not selling them. I'm just kind of using them as a hedge. But the premiums are just crazy on them. Stick with the lower price products. You won't regret it. Well, that's really about it. My phones are starting to ring off the hook again. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. If you got any questions, call me at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Happy to answer your questions, tell you what the best deal of the day is, and any other questions you may have. Meanwhile, please, if you get a chance, make sure you hit the like button there as well as the subscribe button. The like button, I'm told, helps me get more subscribers, which the guy that does my videos here tells me it's nice to have more subscribers. So, anyways, hey, thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day. If anything crazy happens today, I'll do another report. If not, we'll be back tomorrow. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.